I guess I should stay out of fights and stick to video games, huh guys? If only there was a new video game that came out that has fighting involved. Not like a fighting game, but, you know, something more RPG-like. And it'd be cool if it had Pokemon involved somehow. I know! Let's take a look at the new Sun and Moon games for the Should You Buy It series, where we help you decide whether or not a game's worth your time and money. Also, I don't have a 3DS capture device because they're too expensive, so I'm gonna steal footage from another YouTube channel, fuck it.
It's pretty amazing that Pokemon's still going as strong as it is, even after 20 years. I mean, when I turned 20, I didn't have anything to show for it except my bad attitude and small pee-pee. It's surprising Pokemon's going as strong as it is, though, because as much as I love every game in the series, it really has just been more or less a copy and paste adventure for each generation. You pick a starter Pokemon, collect 8 badges, fight a lighthearted campy terrorist group, and then finally beating an elite group of 4 people. The only real differences between the games that we've ever seen is that new Pokemon are added in each generation of games, which does greatly affect the competitive battling scene enough to warrant these sequels, but most people don't play these games in that way. Mainly because it's complicated as fuck and the games usually go out of their way to give you as little information as possible in regards to EV training and IVs. I understand it, but I'm not going to talk about anything today outside of the main game because it's going to take way too long for me to properly update my knowledge, especially since I barely got involved in the competitive scene last generation. But anyway, this generation is much different than anything we've seen before, and I welcome any changes to the series with open arms. In fact, I'd say Sun and Moon should have tried even more to be different. Instead of gyms, you have island challenges, which are fun, don't get me wrong, but it's still the same concept as the previous games. I mean, gym leaders, totem Pokemon...
Gold jacket, green jacket, who gives a shit?
To be fair though, I don't really know what else they could have done, but at any rate I do enjoy it more as the change in pace is nice. I just wish we had gyms as options, kinda like the fighting gym from Saffron City in the first generation. Just as an added bonus and for continuity's sake. I mean, why would the Alola region not have a Pokemon League unless we're to believe it's a third world country or something? As for the new Pokemon this time around, I love the idea of reinventing old Pokemon by giving new types to many of our original favorites from the Kanto region, thanks to Pokemon migrating and adapting to their new habitat. It makes the game feel like an actual sequel as opposed to being yet another reboot. I mean, a very loosely connected sequel like Speed 2, or I guess Jurassic World, since like Sun and Moon, it's actually good. And the connection to the originals surely tickled people's nostalgia holes, which is probably why these games have sold so well. I'm absolutely stunned that nobody waited for the award-winning Should You Buy It series to cover it first. Anyway, as much as I want new Pokemon, I'm glad these games went down the route of new old Pokemon. If they pump too many out each generation, then we'll have like 10,000 Pokemon sooner than later, so I'm in no hurry. As for the completely new Pokemon that are here, though, there isn't one that I've seen thus far that I'm not into. But that's not to say that there won't be any shitty ones, I just haven't seen them yet. The starters, however, might be my favorites to date, just their first forms, though. The only final evolution I like is Decidueye?
Can't even read.
I really like the idea of there being multiple islands. Even though larger regions of mostly land work just fine as well, all the islands along with the music and characters give you a unique vibe that make this adventure feel a lot less forgettable like I've felt before with an entry or two in this series. My only problem with multiple islands is if you want to do that, then why not give us some of the older regions after we finish the game like Gold and Silver did, but for some reason hasn't been done since. The Pokemon series has been known to give us cool things only to take them away in the next generation, which always frustrates the shit out of me. Why can't we have the bag organization that Gold and Silver had? This game uses the same bag for Pokeballs as it does for held items. And why can't we collect medals again like in Black and White? Oh well, at least we still get the same sound effect for when you bump into things back from Gen 1. I'm not being sarcastic either, I really do enjoy that sound and at this point they better not get rid of it. Hopefully we keep all the new good features from these games though, like just having one button to throw a Pokeball, only asking you one time if you want to learn a new move, giving you the option to send a Pokemon in your party back to the PC instead of the one you just caught, and Battle Royals, although I wish it was done under the last team standing rules instead of getting points for how many Pokemon you take out. Battle Royals are mostly luck, sure, but it's fun and can probably lead to some wacky situations with friends. You know, if I actually had any. Definitely my favorite new thing Sun and Moon had to offer though would be the exclusion of HMs, which forced you to waste move slots of Pokemon in your team that are a pain in the ass to get rid of, and the game always tries to be a dick when you transfer it to future games. To remedy this problem, they've given us the ability to call Pokemon to handle various tasks that require swimming, sniffing things out, flying, and more. The only thing that sucks is that when you're riding these helper Pokemon that technically aren't yours, you have to dress up like a total kook. Are they really afraid that kids will try to ride Pokemon without safety equipment in real life? Oh well, looking like a bitch is still worth it if we don't have to carry HMs around anymore. And it's about time that they got rid of a problem that we've been complaining about since they were introduced in the first games. One familiar series staple that carried on from previous generations is the silly terrorist group. This time, it's the likes of Team Skull, and the quickest, most accurate way to describe them would be that they're pretty much the juggalos of the Pokemon world. If you like any generation of Pokemon, then this is a must-buy for 3DS owners, and if you don't own a 3DS, I dare say it's worth buying just for these games. Especially considering how cheap 3DSs are nowadays and how many great games already exist for it. And if you've played Pokemon Go and wanted to try a game in the main series, now's as good a time as any to dive in. My only real complaint would be that it's way too easy, although these games were never really meant to be hard to begin with. I had to turn the experience share off though, because I hate the idea of evolving Pokemon on your team without actually using their early forms. Part of the fun is watching them grow alongside of you. But anyway, unless you dislike the Pokemon series, you should definitely buy Sun and Moon.
So there you have it, everybody. Another episode in the sack for YouTube's longest running video game series. I'd say don't forget to like, share, comment, and do all that shit, but if you don't do it, it's not because you forgot, it's because you didn't feel like doing it. I mean, I'd like it if you did it. And you're encouraged to do it, but you don't have to.